This is a Planet Vero production for Evergreen Media. And now it's time to put you on the spot with EGM.
Hello and welcome to On the Spot with EGM. I'm Jesse Krisky, and today we've got a great one. It's Gold Star. It's the Dogs for Life. Now, Dogs for Life is a very important organization. They provide service dogs for, you know what, why don't I introduce Shelly Ferger. She is the founder and CEO of Dogs for Life. She's going to do a much better job explaining what Dogs for Life is better than I can. Hi, Shelly. How are you?
Hi, Jesse.
So Dogs for Life, it provides an incredible service. So why don't you tell us about Dogs for Life and how you got involved?
Sure, Jesse. Dogs for Life is a nonprofit 501c3 organization. We train service dogs for veterans and others, non-veterans, but primarily, or I should say our specialty, are hearing dogs and mobility dogs, and then dogs for the effects of post-traumatic stress. We're located in Vero Beach on the corner of 12th Street and 16th Avenue. We're just east of the Vero Beach Elementary School. We've been there over 20 years. We also have an off-leash dog park there, about 4.5 acres, lovely area for the community, for dogs that are inoculated, neutered, and social. There's a $100 membership fee to the park. Unless you're a veteran, first responder, or one of our clients, then there is no charge. But we operate right there on 12th Street, and thrilled to be a part of the community, and thrilled to receive the community support like you're giving us, Jesse, with this spot. And so we're excited to talk about our programs, and then go ahead and try to give a plug, as you were going to in the beginning, to the American Gold Star Mothers event. So happy to be here.
Well, that's great. So you've been involved with Dogs for Life for 20 years?
Yes.
Since its inception?
When we introduced ourselves, and I told you I was a native of Vero Beach, and so over the years, the career just evolved from a dog trainer to service dog trainer, and then founded the Dogs for Life as a nonprofit because there was so much demand for service dog training. And of course, we live in a very generous area, so it was the thing to do. And that was in 2001, 2002. And then we've just grown, unbelievably grown, from a small grassroots organization to maintaining 50 dogs for the last several years in our program. So we're very grateful to be able to work with the veterans in Indian River County. Now, we also train for St. Lucie County.
Okay.
There's a huge veteran population in Port St. Lucie. So we were able to incorporate Indian River. And of course, if you're just over the line in Palm Bay or Barefoot Bay area, or just below Martin County, we'll consider. But because we're an in-home program, well, I say in-home meaning in-home at Dogs for Life, it takes about a year to take a dog through our program, sometimes a little less, and then we're training the person to train their own dog. Okay. So we'll train dogs that people already own. So if you are a veteran or a person with hearing, mobility, or post-traumatic stress, and you have your own dog, and it's a trainable dog, meaning it's can be trained in obedience, and maybe right around 2 or 3, we'll push it at 4, depending on the abilities of handler and dog. You do have to qualify. You have to have a diagnosed disability, and then you have to be able to come to us once a week for the training. So that's important, that if you can't make that commitment, then we just can't help you, because we don't have a facility in the sense of the word. Most service dog organizations have a kennel and they breed their own service dogs, though I might add we are receiving a few puppies a year from an international breeding co-op. We are a member of Assistance Dogs International, so we're getting some super dogs from that bloodline. But if we get a nice dog and a person who's committed to training their dog, then we'll take them into the program, and a year later, we have a fully certified service dog, the real deal, not what you see out sometimes in public that are not behaving properly. So the law says that you have to have a diagnosed disability, and the dog has to be task trained to mitigate the disability. So the best example I can give is if you're hearing impaired and your dog is afraid of loud sounds, then probably not going to be able to train that dog as a hearing dog, right? Because they have to be confident enough to lead you to the sound. And So if your dog is not conducive to the task work to mitigate your disability, then that doesn't work. But we do have a first-rate program, and we're very proud of it. And we've got some great trainers and great volunteers and a committed board of directors. And I just couldn't be happier with where the organization is right now.
That's fantastic. I mean, Dogs for Life, they do such a great job providing service dogs for veterans. And like you said, there's a lot of generous people here in Indian River County and the surrounding area on the Treasure Coast and in St. Lucie County. And there's also a lot of veterans, and a lot of veterans need these dogs. So when it comes to veterans, who qualifies to obtain a service dog? We kind of touched a little bit about that, but you want to give us a little more detail about who can obtain a service dog from Dogs for Life, and how do they apply?
Sure. Well, number one, you have to have a diagnosed disability. The law reads that you have to be disabled to have a service dog, number one. And that's where I think a lot of people get confused in the public and dogs that they see out in public, because it can be an issue and a huge problem if the dogs aren't trained properly. So the person, number one, has to have a disability that we train. And so the hearing dogs alert their owners to someone knocking on the door, the smoke alarm going off, the telephone ringing, doorbells. Once those 4 sounds are established, then this, what we call the magic in service dog world, starts taking place, and then the dog starts alerting to sounds that we have not trained. So if you've got a hearing loss, then that's where we're looking. Mobility is for people that need stabilizing on their feet. They might need help getting out of a chair. Even a small dog can be used to pick up items that someone would drop. And then post-traumatic stress is more about teaching a dog to apply pressure either on the lap or the chest of the person. That takes a life of its own, too, because that magic occurs when the dog understands the pheromone, the body odor of that person is changing. And so we're not waiting for a full-fledged panic attack. We're waiting for the dog to recognize the odor is changing, their person's behavior is changing, and then to start offering the tasks that they've been trained to help them not go there. Kind of interrupts the behavior.
So the dog can pick up on your odor can change based on your behavior, and the dog can pick that up?
Well, think about it. When we're getting stressed out or we're uptight, you can imagine you're probably going to start sweating a little bit.
Okay.
And so that's obvious to us, but the dog's sense of smell is so strong, and anyone that lives with a dog knows that the dog knows what's happening before we're getting ready, and they know that way before you're getting ready to leave. They know that. Yeah. They know our routine. Yeah. People who suffer from depression and that know that when or if you're ill, your dog just seems to stay by your side. They just do, and that's the natural instinct of a dog. They do make us feel better. Our blood pressure comes down when we pet a dog, and those are all benefits of owning a dog, and we know that. But to task train the dog specifically to mitigate the disability is the important part that's missing with a lot of people, is that their dog may work for them and it's intuitive to their needs, and we get that, but you could not go to court and say to a judge, my dog just makes me feel better, or he just does this for me. It's a behavior that you have to document, and you want to record that you have task trained that dog. For example, if you go into a public place, there's 2 questions that can be asked. Is that a pet or a service dog? So if you're answering truthfully and it's a service dog, then that's what you say. The second question that an establishment could ask you is the dog task trained, or what is he trained to do for you? That's where the task training reasonable answer has to be given. We don't have to disclose a medical condition, but we do have to give a reasonable answer so that person can ascertain that it is a service dog and not a pet. And then, of course, if the dog's behavior is not conducive to a public setting, they're aggressive, they're lunging, they're out of control, they eliminate where they're not supposed to, they destroy property, those are all reasons that a dog can be removed from an environment, not the person, but the dog. So, we do not want dogs in the community interacting with service dogs that are not properly trained, because it causes a problem for everyone, as we know from how the airline industry recently had to change their laws to accommodate service dogs versus animal, the word animal, And then, of course, sometimes miniature horses are still considered as part of a service, in that service, dog, and sometimes miniature horses is how it reads.
Okay. Well, these dogs are amazing. And we're speaking with Shelly Ferger from Dogs for Life. And so quickly, what other organizations do you collaborate with?
Well, for many years, we wanted to be in touch with as many veterans as we could.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened, we built our building there on the property in 2015 on the dog park property, our training center. And about the same time as when the veteran movement started across this country, they really were being service dogs were being recommended by their therapist at the VA, and then they also, a lot of them opted for, let's try this versus medication, or as another tool in our toolbox to help us with our post-traumatic stress. And then some dogs are dual trained. They're trained for PTSD and hearing, or I've even had dogs trained in 3 ways, for hearing, mobility, and PTSD. So that happened in about 2015 when the veteran movement started.
That's incredible. Yeah. Now, Dogs for Life. How do we get a hold of Dogs for Life, and what are you looking for? Are you looking for money? Are you looking for puppies?
We are always looking for money.
Okay.
As any nonprofit, we have a staff of 5, 3 full-time, 2 part. We've got a volunteer force of over 200. We've got a building to support, of course, and then we don't train our we don't charge our clients any money. Everything that we do is for free for the individuals.
That's awesome. And how do we get a hold of you?
Phone number 772-567-8969. If you live in Indian River, St. Lucie County. We can also give you information if you're outside the area on how to train your own service dog.
All right. And that website is dogsforlifevb.org. All right. Well, Shelly Ferger for Dogs for Life, thank you for joining us on the Spot.
Thank you, Jesse.
All right. Take care, everybody.
This is a Planet Bureau production for Evergreen Media. And now it's time to put you on the spot with EGM.